The first thing as a salesperson, and what's going to separate you between everybody else, is that number one, I want you to understand this. You have to give a shit. This is the Raul Villacis experience. Learn what it takes to go to the next level.
I strongly suggest you to pay attention to what Raul has to say. Because honestly, really, it can change your life. Así que sin más choro, ayúdame a darle un fuerte aplauso.
Gracias. Un aplauso para Fernando, por favor, un aplauso. All right, so I'm going to talk in Spanglish. I know some people like to be in Spanish and English. My main language, I was born in Ecuador, so my main language is Spanish. Pero se me olvidó un poquito, así que si es que me cruzo entre español e inglés, no se preocupen, que vamos a terminar en chino, pero vamos a terminarlo. So I used to do what Fernando used to do, which is, I have a sales team. I own a real estate company. We did a lot of volume at the height of the market when in the U.S., everybody was making money. And then I used to do these meetings. So when I was there, I was thinking, looking at you, like, man, fuck, I used to do this. I used to do this because, I know what it's like to sit in here in front of people and look at every single one of you and want it more than you do. Because guess who gets the joy out of giving out the money more than you? Who do you think gets the joy? The leader, the guy who's here is like, fuck, man, I want you to have that money. And I used to have joy of paying my people more than I used to pay. Because guess who, as an entrepreneur, as an owner, who gets paid last? The owners of the company gets paid last. I don't know if you know, most hotels right now, a lot of them are going out of business. A lot of hotels are going out of business. I predict that if this hotel didn't make that switch to get a brand like the Hard Rock, all of you would not have a job. Because I know what it seems like. It seems like the owners, they live this lifestyle and they have all these things and they have all this luxury, but we take all the risk. We take all the risk. But here, understand one thing. You are the blood of any business. The salespeople, we're the blood. I consider myself a salesperson. I never consider myself anything else. I'm a sales guy that understands psychology, understands human behavior, understands emotions. But we have to understand that as a salesperson, you are the oxygen, the blood of any single company. Without all of you, there will be no hotel. There will be no business. So when you start looking at the responsibility that you have as a salesperson, man, you're changing people's lives. And here's why I love to do this, because when he asked me to speak, I said, man, you guys are like me. Like I consider myself like a fucking hunter. Raise your hand if you think that you're a hunter. Raise your hand. ¿Quién piensa que es un cazador? Que estamos cazando todos los días. We're fucking hunters. And here's what we love to do. When we want to hunt, we know what the fuck to do. Raise your hand if you know how to hunt. Raise your hand. Most of you know what to do. But here's what I've learned and why, like when he said my story matters, is because the Achilles heel, your biggest weakness, is that you already know what to do. When you as a salesperson, as a hunter, if you think you already know everything, you're fucked. You're fucked. So the moment that you think that you know everything, the moment that you think like, I can't learn anything else, what is Fernando going to teach me? Shit, I've seen this fucking video 100 times. My name is not even in there because I haven't done any sales. I haven't done any work. So then you're sitting all the way in the back, texting and doing everything and joking around and talking about, of course he got the award. He kisses ass all the time to people. That's why he got the award. Oh, I know her. She's always doing this. No. It's because they put in the fucking work. Imagine if you're the hunter and you have the rifle, you have the tools, but you're sitting around YouTubing, doing shit. What are you doing with the tools? You're wasting them. You're wasting the tools. So I know what he said, like I could change your life and I could give you motivation. I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm far from a motivational speaker. But here's what I want to tell you. The difference between those people who walk in this line and the difference between those people that are not walking in the line and getting paid is the fucking work. There is no shortcut. There is no fucking shortcut. My son turned 13 years old yesterday. And I told him, I said, son, you're going to have a hard time out there in the world. You know why? Because inside, in this house, you're the best son. I love you. Your mom loves you. Your grandparents love you. Outside of this house, nobody gives a shit about you. And he looked at me like that, it's like, yeah, nobody gives a shit about you. Why? Because unless you bring in value into the world, nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit about you having a bad day yesterday. Nobody gives a shit about, you had an argument with your husband. Nobody gives a shit about, you didn't sleep 8 hours or 7 or 5 hours. Nobody gives a shit. Especially when you have families coming over and wanting to go on vacation and you were the first line of defense. Raise your hand if you got in all the looks. Oh shit, like here comes a guy. Raise your hand if you got in those looks, right? You are the first line of defense. So here's what happens. If you don't understand psychology, if you don't understand emotional fitness, if you don't understand human behavior, you're gonna take that shit personally. And the moment that you take that shit personally, you're dead. Might as well get another job. Because sales is not for the weak. Sales is not for the ones who are like, no. I think that the analogy that I use is like we're the lions in the jungle. And the lions in the jungle, every time they're hungry, what do? Oh, I'm going to complain that today I didn't have a good day. Oh, I'm going to complain that, the internet didn't work. I'm going to complain that this should happen. No, the fucking lions hunt. Because they know if they don't hunt or they don't send the lioness, because I know the lioness does the hunting most of the time. But if they don't hunt, what happens to them? They fucking die. And that's the reason I love what I do, because I teach entrepreneurs and I coach CEOs and I tell them, if you don't do what you do, you're dead. You're dead. And see, when we walk around, it doesn't matter. I tell you right now, the biggest mistake that you're going to make is to think that by you winning here, you're going to be satisfied. I'll tell you right now, winning here is not going to give you satisfaction if you hate the hunt. If you hate what you do, no matter how much money he's going to put at you, 1,000, 10,000, if you hate the hunt, you are not going to be happy. Like the one takeaway I want you to understand with me is that I fucking love what I do. I love what I do. And when I was in your shoes, because I used to be part of an organization that I was sitting all the way in the back, I couldn't wait to learn how to become a better hunter. Has the market changed? Raise your hand if the market has changed from 5 years ago. Raise your hand. Tremendously. So the tools that you're using right now are not going to be the same tools you're going to use 5 years from now. So become a better hunter. Become a better understanding the human behavior. Because right now with social media, can I find out better deals while you're giving them in social media? Right there when you talk, I want to get this excursion. Okay, hold on one second. Let me Google this. And let me see if you're going to give me the right deal. Like this, they know more than you do. So it's not about what you're giving them. The first thing as a salesperson, and what's going to separate you between everybody else, is that number one, I want you to understand this. You have to give a shit. If you don't give a shit, you're going to be piled up all these things you want to give them. It doesn't going to matter because they're going to read you. They're like, man, she just wants me to do this. Giving a shit is the number one. You cannot buy that. I can go like, can you give me a certification of giving a shit? I need to give a shit today, man. Can I just borrow the giving a shit card so I can go? No, you can't. You have to generally give a shit. Number two is you have to be hungry but not desperate. Be hungry but not desperate. You know, last time I met you, we did a little YouTube podcast, and I said, fuck, you guys' names are legendary. You represent their hard rock. You represent a big brand. People should be like, man, like I'm honored that you wanna take me into this beautiful hotel. I'm honored that you offer me this, because you're not offering a little Mickey Mouse shit over there. Be hungry, but don't be desperate. Especially with your time. If people are not accepting your time, be hungry, but don't be desperate. And the third thing, enjoy the fucking process. Enjoy the process. Life is too short. Life is too short. I was lucky enough to be with Richard Branson a couple of months ago. He's a billionaire. He owns an island. And I told him, I said, he screwed up my vacation. Because every vacation that I go to, now I'm comparing it to Necker Island, and I'm like, shit, you know? But he's like, Raul, like, I became who I am because I enjoy what I do. I enjoy the process. But see, most of us, we don't enjoy the process because we're too stressed the fuck out. We're too stressed the fuck out. So we let our emotions, we let what bothers us trigger us in the interaction with other people. So that means you bringing your bullshit to the customer, and the customer is bringing their bullshit to you. So what are you gonna have if you have a lot of bullshit over here and bullshit over here? What are you gonna have? A pile of shit. So your job, if you wanna get paid, is to learn how to dissect that and say, you know what, I'm gonna leave my bullshit over here. You know why? Because I know that my family is giving me shit. I know that my husband or my wife is giving me shit. I know my kids are giving me shit, but I'm gonna leave my shit at home. I'm gonna learn how to help the customer clean up their bullshit when they come into vacation. So then we could have a real conversation and see how I could help them have a better experience. If you learn to become that vessel, como dice, no limpiador de shit, no limpiador, pero el que les enseña. So listen, you come in here, I know you're stressed out, you just came out of the plane, I know you want to have some drinks. Let me help you get a better experience. That's all. And if you look at you as just like the way I look at it is like, I'm just a conduit. Like I don't even know what I was going to say when I was sitting there. I don't know. I was like, okay, let me just get up there. I'm just a conduit. I'm just the vessel. If you believe that you're the vessel, look, I don't know who got me in here 2 years ago, but one of you give the shit enough to look at me, and I was stressed out and said, hey, it looks like you need an adventure. Let me give you a day pass to this place so you can relax. And you changed my life and my family's life and many other people. So don't ever discount what you do, because you're not just selling a package, you're not just selling a promotion, you're changing people's lives for the better. But if you don't believe that shit, is your customer gonna believe it? No. You need to believe in your product. You need to believe in what you do. You need to believe that what you do fucking matters. I love when one guy said here, like, lo que es para mí es para mí. Lo que no es para mí, get out of the fucking way. Right? Because if you don't see that you are a blessing for other people, and not just the customers that come in, the team here. Like, I love this, man. Like, you have a really good, solid team. You guys are pulling in some numbers. But unless you get tight with the team and start like getting rid of all the bullshit that goes around and say, hey man, how can I help you? Good for you, man. You did the numbers, good for you. If you want to get up here with these guys, you be happy for them. You clap like your hands hurt. Que te duelen las manos. Si quieres que te duelen las manos, va a estar aquí. Because when I was in the back and I used to see the people making the money, man, I was so happy for them. And I said, one day I'm going to be there. One day I'm going to do that. If you're not happy for them, when you get there, how happy are you going to be? You're going to be miserable. Because you're going to be there trying to prove everybody. Don't listen. Last thing I want you to think is that you have to prove people here. These people were here because they're doing their job for them. And you could see them. You could see the side, man, I'm out there hustling. Not because nobody wants me to hustle, because that's who I am. One thing that Fernando said is that you can't learn how to sell. You could learn the tools. You could learn the system. You could learn the catchphrase. But selling is nothing more than sharing something that you give a shit about. That's all selling is. If you care, you will sell. If you don't care, you cannot influence anybody else. Muchísimas gracias.
Se sintió de maravilla, pensé en mi familia, pensé en mi hija.
De verdad era algo como que necesitaba y no sabía que necesitaba.
Muchas gracias.
Felicidades.
De verdad que la charla fue muy motivadora.
Me abrió la mente a muchas cosas nuevas.
Una excelente experiencia de vida.
No tengo palabras.
Increíble, la verdad.
An amazing story here.
Única que deberíamos sentir siempre.
Una reconexión dormida dentro de mí, se me despertó.
Muy bellas palabras que compartió el señor Raúl. Pensé mucho en mi familia, que bueno, ya están en México.
Realmente te cambia la perspectiva de las cosas.
Y gracias, Raúl.
Y hasta me salieron las lagrimitas.
Me sentí muy emocionada.
Muchísimas gracias, Raúl.
Hasta que se repita.